I find interesting, how do we know that these articles are generally true or not? I mean, what, so like the press just takes a random bitch and then writes an article about her story? Like, how do we know that this is an actual person? But I suppose, like, this is modern entertainment, you know, like, people pretend that they're shocked, but they read anyway, because they enjoy it, right? Like, they take pleasure in reading this type of shit. I don't necessarily, but it's my job, so I have to, even though it gives me brain damage. But let's assume it's real, right? I falsely accused my husband of sexually abusing our daughters. They were taken into care, and I never forgave myself. But that's not even the worst thing that's happened to me. So basically, the press has completely replaced the clergy. This is now a confession booth for mentally ill people. And it also tries to soak. Like, it tries to soak my empathy out of me, right? Like, I'm now supposed to care for this bitch. Which, again, like, I do have the right to insult this person if the story is true. Because there is no other way to call a person that falsely accuses the husband and then gets their children taken away, right? I mean, this is way beyond the pale. This is a very, very evil person. If you can't use bad words to describe an evil person, then when are you supposed to use the bad words for, right? But anyway, right, so I had the usual childhood of girls who suffered physical abuse, which left its mark emotionally. From age 15 to 18, I was forced into prostitution. This is not usual childhood, by the way. Like, let's, right? Your experience is your experience. Most people do not experience this. Like, let's stop creating the illusion that most girls are forced into prostitution or that most girls are sexually abused from childhood. I met my first husband while I was a prostitute, and we got married at 19. The marriage was short, but gave me 3 lovely daughters. We were on and off over the years, but got on. Then, in 1986, I did the worst thing which blighted our lives. I falsely accused him of sexually abusing the girls. I now know that's common among survivors of incest. Okay, hold up a little bit. If I was to say that you shouldn't marry common survivor of incest because they will accuse you of molestation falsely, right? Even if you like you're not doing anything wrong, right? But if you marry one of these people, they will falsely accuse you. If I say that, people will try to censor me, right? Like, how can you say that? How can you say such a thing? But for some reason, when she says it, it's fine. Even though it's literally the same thing, right? Like, it's just from a different perspective. Like, she says, well, I did it because everyone else does it. Like, it's just normal. It's like, no, it's not. No, I don't think so. I do not believe that a person's trauma justifies that person causing trauma to other people. No, I do not think, like, this is a way of healing, right? Like, attacking other people. No, like, nothing that happened to you justifies what you've done. Like, don't fish for empathy because there is none. Right? Like, there are two separate things. Like, what happened to you is horrible, yes, but that doesn't justify what you did. There is no compassion here, right? Like, if a person commits a crime, they don't get to say, well, yeah, I was abused as a child. It's like, no, okay, like, I understand, right? But we still need to separate you from law-abiding citizens. Like, if you're incapable of living in a society without hurting other people that weren't your abusers, right? Then you shouldn't live in a society amongst law-abiding people. Jesus. Like, well, I mean, like, obviously, you know, because I was abused. Like, what did you expect? Of course I'm going to falsely accuse. Like, the mentality as well, right? I mean, of course I'm going to falsely accuse people. I've been abused. Jesus. And the journalists don't interrupt them, right? Like, they just allow them to rant. Because usually, like, journalists interrupt right-wingers all the time. But, the trauma of having the girls taken into care was terrible. Okay, so, like, the problem The problem wasn't that she felt terrible for falsely accusing him. The problem was having the girls taken away. In 1987, I met my second husband. On my wedding day, I desperately wanted to say no when the register asked me, "Do you?" question, as I realized he was a dominant bully. Yeah, at this point, sorry if I don't believe you. Like, you just confessed of falsely accusing another man of the worst thing imaginable, and now you also want me to believe that he was a bully. No, like, if you're an adult, listen, okay? You're an adult. When you sign, you sign. So shut the fuck up with this thing like he was a bully. No, you are a bully. You did the unthinkable, right? Like, you managed to get a couple of kids being taken away from their parents and placed into foster care. You falsely accuse someone. You, by the definition, are a worse. There's nothing that man can do which would make it worse than what you did. I mean, maybe there is something that can do. But, like, most reasonable people wouldn't, right? I mean, I'm just saying. We had 4 sons. 2 dying in infancy. One had the mitochondrial illness. The other was delivered too early because of my developing eclampsia. Well, see, God is punishing you. And I'm not a religious person. I'm just saying. He weighed only 1 lab. Okay. Grief never leaves me. In 1990, at 40, I went to college and gained qualifications to become a medical secretary. A job I loved. My husband would drive me and from work, and it was en route to his job. But, I mean, you just said he's a bully, right? And now you're basically describing that, no, actually he was a caring husband. In 2018, he lost his job and no longer stood it to take care of me. So he forced me to give it up. Devastation doesn't come close to how I felt. Well, I mean, I wonder how the first husband felt when you falsely accused him and got the kids taken away. Huh? On January 2, 2020, I walked into the dining room to see him slumped at the table dead. Now I'm diagnosed with normal pressure hydrocephalus, bedbound with cares 4 times a day. I no longer feel the wind in my hair, the sun on my skin. Again, I'm not into the Hindu religion, but they have this thing called karma. And when I read stuff like this, I'm just saying maybe Krishna was right. Am I a bad person for saying, like, look, they are the ones that posted this in the papers, right? Like, is it wrong that I don't arrive to the morally correct conclusions? Like, I'm just saying, again, the person that molested her when she was young, by all means, they should be arrested. They should suffer in prison. I agree with that, right? But she has also done bad things to other people. To children, to another man. And she too, apparently, is not suffering at the hand of the judicial system. They are suffering at the hand of the cosmos. There we go. See, the Hindu religion. I'm telling you. People say Christianity. No, Jesus had nothing to do with this. Karma. I'm very isolated and dependent. Feeling my illness is my punishment. It is. Very few, if any, charities do companionship visits. The wee small hours are the worst, but a few helplines are open. One that has blocked my number for calling too often. And another one after I waited 50 minutes. Listen, again, I'm not an expert, but from what you're describing, I can read between the lines. You are an insanely, extremely difficult person, right? I mean, you falsely accuse someone. You then try to insinuate that your second husband was a bully when apparently he was doing his obligations, right? He was driving you to work and stuff. And then you're telling me that the helpline, the experts, are blocking your number. By the way, did she get sick after 2020? Huh? Was she vaccinated? I'm asking because, everyone was asking. in 2020. It's like that was the question that I got everywhere. Like, were you vaxxed? Were you vaxxed? And now that I ask other people, well, were you vaxxed? Oh, no, how can you ask that? No, I'm just curious. My GP is amazing, but apart from meds, there is not he can do. Local mental health services offered me cognitive behavioral therapy, which I turned down because it completely ignores your past, which is what makes me the way I am. I have a feeling, again, this is just me, you know, I'm basically saying my opinion. You're a very, very bad person. What happened to you is not okay, but you keep using the past to justify anything that you're currently doing. Like, I'm just saying, right? Like, how can we know at this point that you're doing something bad despite your past, right? Like, if you were in an alternate universe and you had a normal upbringing and you still did these things, right? How would we be able to tell? Like, this is just something that you're saying. You're saying that because of your past, you behave like this. But, like, how can we tell? Huh? If we turn time back and you had a normal upbringing, what if you did these things anyway? The journalist. Okay, so the journalist does interrupt, my bad. I would bet a lot of money that many people are reading your words with disbelief and horror, which was my own response. No, it's not disbelief. Like, I'm pretty sure people can do it. Like, manipulative people exist. My disbelief is that you chose to do it in the papers. And based on the fact that you're having this obsession with calling helplines and shit, I generally think that you did it in the papers just to get attention. How can so many awful things happen to one person? How can one human being continue her life to be in prison? So, like, the journalist is actually taking your side. Astonishing, right? Like, how can so many bad things happen to one person? Well, I mean, don't you think they deserve it? Like, at some point, if they get children taken away, right? If they falsely accuse their husband of the worst thing ever, don't you feel like there actually should be a little bit of cosmic justice in this? No, of course not. Okay. The first and obvious thing to say is that it's a terrible experience of your childhood. Okay, yes, no, I agree with this, right? And are clearly a cause of lifelong trauma. Why clearly? Why clearly, right? Like, we can just assume that because a person has a traumatic upbringing, then they will automatically start accusing other people of abuse. They will do all these horrible things. No. There are people that actually did have trauma, and they end up being normal around other people, right? Like, what, are they superhumans? Like, no. It's like, look, it's your burden, right? I do understand, like, people have trauma, but that's not a justification to traumatize other people. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. And if you say it is, that every single person that has trauma should actually be labeled so that normal people like my son, for instance, should stay away from them. Like, why would my son deserve something like that, you know? And by this logic, if we actually say, okay, well, if you have trauma, it's actually normal to traumatize others. What if the person that traumatized her was also traumatized by someone else? Huh? Like, we don't know the abuser. Like, what if they also were traumatized when they were kids? Does that make it any different? No, it doesn't, right? So, like, why are we even entertaining this? Anybody guilty of misapplying that word to their own relatives' trivial experiences should read your letter again and understand the real long-term effects of suffering. No, I don't. Like, I'm sorry. No, journalist, I think you're fucked in the head. Seriously, like, whoever wrote this article, I think you have issues. If it happened to you, you would think differently. The only reason you're saying these things is that you can never perceive that something like this would happen to you or your loved ones, right? It's something out of sight, out of mind, so you're just saying the correct things. But, like, if someone falsely accused your son and got them locked up, or, you know, falsely accused your grandchildren and had the children taken away, I think you would think differently. The only reason you're thinking like this is because you have absolutely no empathy. See, like, this is the thing. I cannot place myself into this woman's shoes because I would never falsely accuse someone. And so, like, there is no empathy here because in order to have that, you have to think, like, how would you feel if you were them? And I generally cannot imagine because I would never falsely accuse someone else, right? But I can't imagine what it's like to have my son falsely accused. Like if my son actually gets married to some crazy bitch and she accuses him even though my son didn't do anything. Yeah, I can imagine that. And it would be pretty fucked up. Yeah, I hope that we live in a society where that wouldn't happen. Your guilt at falsely accusing your first husband has never left you. Seeing it as a cause of estrangement from the 5 children you explained. By the way, she never actually mentioned what happened to the husband. Like, did he go to prison? Like, if the children were taken away, he probably got to prison, right? So, I just want you to know, do you realize what they do to sex offenders in prison? Right? And you falsely accused him, so he wasn't a sexual offender, right? Which means that he probably got beaten up or shanked or worse. And your children were taken away, right? And you want compassion now. I looked up companion cares and see that Marie Curie does offer telephone service, blah, blah, blah. You should get ChatGPT. Yes, your appalling past is certainly at the root of your troubles, but what will avail you talking about all the things you know already, blah, blah, blah. It's interesting that at no point does this journalist think that she did anything wrong. Like, it's fucking astonishing. So, like, okay, let me get this straight. If you were to have, I don't know, a young boy, right? And he gets beaten by his mom when he's young. Well, classic story, right? And then he grows up and beats his wife. And then he says, well, you know, I had a bad upbringing, a bad trauma. I had... is that justifying it? You know, like, does that make it okay? I don't think it makes it okay. I really don't. But for some fucking reason, this is like... the journalist replacing the clergy, right? Like, so like, let me get this straight. If a person is abused when they're young, everything else they do is justified, right? Like, there is no line anymore. There is no more standard. There is no more, you know, at least trying. Like, at least just try not to hurt other people. No, because, like, everything that they do is perfectly justified by their upbringing. In fact, like, this chick says it right here. It's like, well, I mean... It's normal for people that are abused to falsely accuse others. Wow. Well, in that case, like, I need to make sure that my son stays the fuck away from people that were abused, right? Because it's normal for them to falsely accuse others. And if that's the case, like, the authorities should also know, okay, well, if this person was abused and they accuse other people, don't believe it, because, like, it's what they do. Jesus. I mean, that's what they're saying. They're saying it. I'm not saying it. But I am a rational person, right? And so, like, if premise A is true, then it leads to premise B, doesn't it? I do logic in my head. Apparently, it's bad doing logic, right? We're just emotional here. Yeah, this is the most fucked up article that I have ever read. I don't even know why it's in the papers. I genuinely don't. Like, who the fuck is this chick? But not only that, it's like, okay, so you chose to talk about her, and the answer you gave her, holy shit. Man, I hope it doesn't happen to you, you know, like, I generally do. Usually, I'm a little bit more malicious, but in this situation, yeah, journalist, if you're reading this, which is the person that read, Bell Mooney, right? Bell Mooney. I hope it doesn't happen to you. I hope it doesn't happen to your family. I hope your son or your grandson or anyone, you know, like me, you must have a relative that's with a cock, right? I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they don't find the person that abuses them like this. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, we'll see you in the comment section. Take care.